Welcome, warriors, archers, shields, and cavalry. I am your knight with an arrow pouch today. Okay, let's be real for a minute, guys. The archers are pretty busted in all classes. I know they are weak in hit points, but they are far above every starter unit at the very least. They destroy swords, they destroy halberds, spears are basically the same, and other archers. And they don't even do that bad against shields, the things that are supposed to counter them. Well, I guess let's move on to the strengths of these really good units. They have a range advantage. I mean, that's kind of obvious because they're, archers, but, they have a faster movement speed than most units, except for cavalry and fast foot troops, because, some people have the speed abilities, but that's not really that bad. Do a ton of damage. Like, come on, dude. They ignore half the armor. That's another point, but they ignore it. It is crazy. So even shields still get shredded, from the backs at least. They can wipe out the commanders and ignore the entire army, which that is something that doesn't happen. With melee units, you typically have to get into the gritty, and then you have to do the hard work yourself. You have to maybe take out a lot of the unit, destroy the commander, then maybe they get greedy. But here, the commander sets one foot outside, or even if they don't, sometimes you can pelt them down with volley, or sometimes they'll try to rush you, and you can just let your units say, and it's just over. Okay, let's move into the very few weaknesses they have. They're like a sponge. They're squishy. You can squish them very easily. So don't tempt melee combat, guys. I don't know why you would try to be playing melee with the archers, but I've seen it before. They get destroyed by cav and assassin units. Whoa, I know. Stuff you don't see in the starter section. And cav, as I've shown in some of the gameplay, already is still getting hurt by the archers. Now that we're done with the cav and done with all that, let's go through the tips. It's not that hard to play them, but you probably should look out for a couple things. Stay at the range advantage part. You don't want to get too close, and try to pick off the commanders with volleys. The other players, I call them commanders. This destroys any hopes or spirit that your opponent will win the game. Also causes rage quits because people hate it when they step one foot out of their army and I just turn volley off and then the archers all pelt them and they are dead. Just ignore the army. Who cares? If a player rushes you and doesn't have his army, just turn volley off. Your archers have it handled. And this should, never be used except for close range to medium range, as you always have a chance of missing that split-second volley. Don't try it. Trust your units. Also, when retreating, hold fire and stay out of volleys, because both of those abilities slow your units down, and your units get picked off faster than literally anything in a Black Friday sale if you are retreating like that. Remember, it may be hard for you to capture points, but you can sure clear the battlefield for your team, taking any threat away. Don't get too close. Past mid-range is a big no-no if you can help it. Obviously, the commanders move a lot faster than any other unit, so I get it. The commanders might get up on you, but you know what you can do? Do the trick that I just taught you above and turn volley off, and they get shredded. I've shredded Spartan commanders like that. I've shredded a Spartan commander like that while there were barely any archers in my unit. So, just to tell you how good the base archers are, guys, and that's not even saying anything about upgrades, they're very OP, in my honest opinion. The archers, in conclusion, they're a very good unit, especially compared to any other starter unit, unless you count cav, and honestly, they're still good against cav. I honestly used to think archers were bad before I started making this guide for you guys, but now I realize the utter powerhouse archers can be on the field, and yes, while they do need melee support, and it's probably not good to run 3 archers because then you won't have any way to push and hold point while you pick them off from afar. If they're uncontested, they can be the best unit on the map. And while Halberds, as I said in the other guide, can win a lot of melee matchups close up, they barely have to take any damage. Just make sure to keep an eye on your melee, or your arrow count, and where the melee units are so you don't get picked off. Shinobi, if you see those, there's nothing you can do. They carry games through that massive damage they output. Good choice if you chose these. I will sadly never fall for the archers as I am a melee captain, but good choice if you did. Well, I'm not going to keep you guys for long. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the archer guide, if you can even call it that, but I did give you some pointers to look out for. Next we have the shield guide, and then I'm going to actually put the cavalry into the starter guide series because of the fact that the cavalry don't have any units in the starter section, and I would like to make a starter guide for each type of unit so that once we get into the moderate guides, which there won't be cavalry, or moderate unit overviews and advanced unit overviews, there won't be any questions about the playstyle of that unit because I'll already have covered it. In those videos, I'll just cover their playstyle and good situations, probably if you should even buy the unit, and their abilities. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, the content, join the kingdom, and maybe press the subscribe button. But otherwise, I will see you guys around. Goodbye!